if your research proposal is not that good enough too. So maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. Yeah. The age limit is around 24 to 25 years old.
I cannot say if there is really a grade requirement, but I think it is an advantage again.
Hello everyone! I'm Jay, a master's student here in Tokyo Institute of Technology, Japan.
I'm Razel. I'm also a master's student here in Tokyo Institute of Technology.
And for this video, we're going to answer some of your questions about Mext scholarship.
We already made a video about this, the application process, embassy, and university recommendation. JA made a video. But we're here to answer some of your additional questions regarding next application process.
Yeah, so let's start. So for this first video, we're going to answer about your questions regarding eligibility to the scholarship. So let's start with the first question now.
Right. First question is there an age requirement maybe for the application?
Yeah, there is. For research and teacher training, the limit is around 34 to 35 years old. And for undergrad, College of Technologies, and specialized training, the age limit is around 24 to 25 years old. The range depends on your birthday, so check that if you're within 24 to 25 or 34 to 35. Okay?
Okay.
So now, let's go to the second question. So, do you think an applicant has to be an exceptional student with extremely high grades, leadership positions, and extracurriculars?
So, to answer that question, I think it is not a requirement, but it is an advantage. But I think mostly the application will depend on your research proposal. In my opinion, based on my experience in the embassy recommendation process, the research proposal and the grade requirement, maybe it's 50-50, I think. So even though you have like good academic records, if your research proposal is not that good enough too, so maybe yeah.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. Yeah. Okay, so with that, let's go to the third question, please.
Question number 3. What grades do you need to get qualified? This is like kind of similar to question number 2.
Do you know the answer?
What grades do you need to get qualified? Actually, personally speaking, when I was applying, so my bachelor's, my grades in my bachelor's degree were, I think, good. So I cannot say if there is really a grade requirement, but I think it is an advantage again if you have good grades.
Yeah, definitely.
How about your grades?
My grades are yeah, maybe they're above average at least. But yeah, I talked to some of my friends who are also here in the university. All of them said they have at least above average grades. So I think if you're targeting a really good university, grade is quite a big factor. But maybe for other universities that are not that known, maybe an average grade will do.
Especially in the application, I think what you need to do is find a professor, and the professor doesn't know you personally, so what he will just base his judgment on you based on your academic records. So maybe if your university recommended, or maybe also embassy, because you're gonna have to look for a professor, maybe you need at least above average grades.
Yeah, definitely. That's what my professor did for my case back when I was applying. Okay, so fourth question, are average grades a hindrance to getting a scholarship? This is just connected to the same question.
It's the same.
Yeah, maybe it is. So this is what I believe, the higher your grades, the better your chance of getting a scholarship.
Yeah, because you have to sell yourself to the professor. So I think, yeah, the only thing you can tell your professor is how good you are academically.
Yeah, it's a really good answer. Okay, so another one about grades. Oh, but yeah, a little different, maybe.
Number 5.
Yeah.
Are grades from another course included in the evaluation?
We're not very sure, or at least I'm not very sure, but if it's included in your transcript of records, definitely the evaluator or the school, the professor to which you are applying will see those grades, so it's included. I think.
So for example, you failed a course in your undergraduate or you dropped a course, maybe if it's reflected in your transcript of records, it will maybe matter because they will see that.
Yeah. Okay, so last question for this video. Do I have an advantage if I have done an exchange in Japan?
So based on the people around me that I've met, so undergraduate exchange student in Japan, there are maybe 2 cases. First is when you have your professor during the exchange program, so that professor might recommend you to going to master's or graduate studies. So in that case, you already have a sure professor waiting for you. So it is, if you're gonna do university recommendation, I think it's a really sure way maybe because you already have the professor. But if your embassy recommended, because for embassy recommended you have to have the approval of the embassy first before you find a professor. So if you cannot get into the embassy application process, or you cannot be accepted by the embassy, so even though you already have a sure professor, that will be still difficult. And also, for example, if you did an undergraduate exchange program in Japan and you wanted to change your professor or your field of study when you go to graduate school, I think doing in exchange program in Japan will not have a big impact on your application process because it's totally different field and the professor will not look at your past experiences, especially if they're very different field. So yeah, I think it's clear. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting to know. Yeah, so I think that's it for this video, but we're gonna release other videos soon as well about your questions. Also, this is just the first part, so we'll see you in our next video. Again, I'm JA.
I'm Razel.
And see you in our next video.